Morning, boys and girls. Today, we're going to have our literature class. We're going to start reading "And of Clay Are We Made," a short story written by Isabel Allende. To begin with, I'm going to talk a little bit of Isabel Allende. She's a very famous writer. Uh, the Allende last name is famous too. Remember, in Chile, there was a president, Salvador Allende, but she's not her daughter. She is the daughter of a cousin of the Chilean president Salvador Allende. So, who is Isabel Allende? She is a novelist, a feminist, and a philanthropist. She's one of the most widely read authors in the world. She has sold more or less 74 million books. She was born in Peru, but she was raised in Chile. She started becoming worldwide known in 1982 with the publication of her first novel, The House of the Spirits, which began as a letter to her dying grandfather. Since then, she has written more than 23 best selling and critically acclaimed books of different genders. These books have been translated to more or less 42 languages. Allende's work, besides entertaining, educates the reader by interweaving imaginative stories with significant historical events. Besides being a writer, Allende devotes much of her time to human rights causes. In 1996, after her daughter's death, her daughter Paula, she established a charitable foundation in her honor. This foundation has awarded grants to more than 100 nonprofits worldwide, delivering life changing care to hundreds of thousands of women and girls. She has received 15 honorary doctorates, including one from Harvard University. She was inducted into the California Hall of Fame. She received the Penn Center Lifetime Achievement Award and the Ansfield Wolf Literature Achievement Award. In the year 2014, President Obama awarded Allende the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the nation's highest civilian honor. And in the year 2019, she received the Medal for Distinguished Contribution to American Letters from the National Book Foundation. She lives in California and her website is isabelallende.com if you want to learn anything else about her. Uh, she bears the American nationality, but as you already know, she was born in Peru and raised in Chile. Now, let's go to the main point of what matters today. Can reporters always stay objective? Imagine you are a reporter and you're broadcasting live from a place where an accident occurred, and you find out that one of the victims is a relative of yours or maybe a friend of yours. Could you keep yourself objective at that very moment? Should journalists remain detached and objective when they're reporting a tragedy? Or, by the other hand, should they express their feelings and try to help the victims? In this story that we are just about to read, a reporter finds himself deeply involved in the tragic story he is covering. Think about this. Imagine you are a reporter at the scene of a natural disaster. Should you only report the facts? Or should you get involved and try to help the victims? Write your ideas, guys. Whenever we come back, I'm going to be asking you about your ideas. And we're going to have a debate. We're going to have those that think that we only have to report that disaster, and the ones that say that we should get involved and help the victims. Our text analysis is going to be the author's perspective. The author's perspective is a unique blend, a unique combination of feelings, values, and belief that a writer brings to a subject. Remember, this happens basically when there is a political background in a writing. It's not the same thing reading a book talking about the national reality of Central America written by someone that believes in the democratic values than reading it from someone that believes in the Marxist values. Their feelings and their beliefs are completely different. So the point of view in which they write is going to be completely different. The same thing happens when you listen to someone that is not Catholic talking about God, and then you listen to someone that is Catholic talking about God. Different feelings, different values, and different beliefs. And these feelings, values, and beliefs are a main issue in the story and of Clay Are We Made? Why? Because the story contains many echoes of Allende's own life experience. Because she started as a journalist. Here we have on page 216 a chart that tells us a little bit about her background. We should use this information about her life to understand her perspective. Allende is a creative storyteller. She remembers having acquired the vice of storytelling at a rather early age. She became a respected magazine and television journalist in her native Chile, but she once admitted, I can never be objective. I exaggerated and twisted reality. And you can notice this in the different mass media that we have in our country. It's not the same thing watching the news transmitted from one TV channel to the other TV channel because many exaggerate and twist things. The political exile. In 1973, Allende's uncle Salvador Allende, the president of Chile, had a coup d'etat. What's that? A golpe de Estado. The book says that Allende was assassinated, but whoever wrote it was not there. I was not there either. There's no proof that he was assassinated. The general idea is that he used a AK-47 rifle that Fidel Castro had given him to kill himself, to shot himself, because he did not want to be captured alive. That's what most of the stories say, but the book says that. So let's believe what the book says. It was assassinated. See, back again, exaggerated and twisted reality. I don't know why. So, and whose head general was Augusto Pinochet, seized control of the country, and a period of terror and violence began. All the leftists were hunted captured, tortured, many of them killed, and many of them disappeared, and many others had to go away into the exile. Allende's family obviously went into exile. They moved to Venezuela. Later, Allende moved to the United States. She found it hard to get a job as a journalist in the States and eventually turned to creative writing. And here, guys, this is my opinion. They criticized the so called empire, but there we go to the empire to live. She's an American citizen, but not me. Then another important thing in her life was a mother's loss. In 1991, Allende's daughter Paula was stricken by an incurable disease. Allende began a memoir for her daughter, who eventually died. In Paula, Allende explores loss, tragedy. She says that the book may have been written with tears, but they were very healing tears to her life. So, three important things in her life. She was a creative storyteller, just like me. Can tell stories all day long, and I can tell the same story in the morning, in the afternoon, at night, and have three different versions about it. She had to live a political exile since 1973 when her uncle was thrown away of the government because he was a communist. And from 1992 on, she had to bear the sadness of losing a daughter. What's the reading strategy? Monitor. And what does monitor mean? That we have to check our understanding as we read and therefore make the proper adjustments to our reading strategies to improve the comprehension. How is this? Well, the first thing is that we have to adjust our reading rate. That is, that if necessary, we have to read more slowly. Remember, the point is not to read a book from the first page to the last page. The point is to understand the book from the last page, from the first page to the last page, to understand the message, to learn the lesson, and to change our political ideas, our religious ideas, or our social ideas. After reading a book, after reading the story, we're supposed to learn a lesson and we're supposed to become better people. Then the second strategy is to reread. Many times you read and you did not get the idea of what you read. So you have to go back and read. This is like when you're watching a game, a soccer game on the TV, and you were not paying attention and suddenly goal. And you didn't understand how the ball went into the goal. So what do we do? In TV, we have the opportunity to wait for the repetition of the action. Even if you're watching a movie on your DVD player, Netflix, or whatever other network, you have the chance to slide the bar back and repeat the scenes that you did not understand or that definitely you didn't see because you were not paying attention. But when you're reading, you don't have those characteristics. You cannot rewind your brain. So what do? We go back and we reread. While we are rereading, we try to clarify the ideas. But remember, the only way we can clarify the ideas is by understanding the vocabulary that we have there. And that's a problem that you and me and most of the people have. We don't care about that little thing, how do we call it? Webster Dictionary, Merriam and Merriam Dictionary. We have to use it. Third strategy is to visualize. That's to picture the characters, the events, and the settings. And when I say picture, it doesn't mean that you're going to start drawing them. You're going to have a mental picture of them. And the fourth strategy is to question. Ask ourselves questions about the events, about the characters, and then review the text to find the answers. Remember, I'm the kind of people that believe that we don't need to memorize a story. We don't need to memorize the events. We need to understand the events. We need to understand the lesson that the story is providing to us. That's the main issue. Analyzing, getting the main points to see how it can change our life. Boys and girls, we're going to read to find out how the plight of a girl trapped in rubble affects a journalist. And of clay are we made? It has a very interesting background. On November 13, 1985, the Nevado del Ruiz volcano in Colombia erupted. The intense heat from the eruption melted the mountain's ice cap and sent a torrent of water, ash, mud, and rocks into the valley below and onto the town of Barbero. Sorry about that, but my throat is sore and I have to be taking some tea. More than 20,000 people died in that tragedy. Omaira Sanchez, a 13-year-old girl, was trapped in the mud. She became the focus of attention of a lot of media. In the story, the trapped girl is named Azucena, and the man that attempts to rescue her is a journalist named Rolf Karl. The story begins on page 218, boys and girls, and it ends on page 228. 228. Guys, you're going to read today from 218 to 222. Read, answer the monitor your comprehension questions, identify those words that you don't know, copy them in the notebook, look for the definition in your dictionary, and tomorrow we will continue. We will finish the story tomorrow. I hope that you can tell me what the story is about. Have a nice day, guys. Take care. Remember, you're not supposed to be in the streets. Remember that we have school from 7 to 1:45. So try to use that time at your advantage. We're coming back to exams. Take care. Bye.